The letters GT in the modern automotive lexicon are amongst the most abused, misused and thoroughly confused two letters you will ever find. Car manufacturers sling them onto anything with a vaguely sporty silhouette and more than 2 seats, hoping that some of that grand touring fairy dust will stick. But there is a definition.
It's not about outright speed or the amount of G's that this car can pull. It's about a promise. A promise of crossing continents, not just quickly, but effortlessly, devouring great stretches of tarmac, well, cosseted in leather and silence.
And while others are still fumbling for that dictionary, one company has always understood the assignment. The Modena-based marque, Maserati.
They have a birthright to those 2 letters, GT, and this is the latest argument in that debate. The second generation Maserati GranTurismo Trofeo. And as you're about to find out, it's a pretty difficult argument to counter.
Tired of merely driving? Crave that Maserati GranTurismo Symphony, where effortless elegance meets thunderous Italian soul? Then stop dreaming. Arnold Clark invites you to unleash it. Visit their Lux or Maserati showrooms and transform your commute into a grand tour. Because at Arnold Clark, we make it easy.
So here we are, sunshine, Scotland, the Highlands. It doesn't get any better. And we've got a Maserati on possibly some of the best B roads in the world. And this car feels like it belongs here. It doesn't feel like it's kind of intruding in somebody else's space. It doesn't feel like it's just built for motorways, because it's at home. The suspension soaks up the ripples and the bumps in the road. I do like how it's got dual wishbone suspension in the front of this, and with the all-wheel drive system, it wants to hunt for apexes for me. I can see it, I aim the car towards it, but it's like the car then almost looks for the next apex. It's thinking one step ahead of me. I like the seating position. It's typically Duncan. It's nice and low to the ground. The pillar's not too big. And all the driving modes suit these roads. Remember, I've done a Maserati review before, and I was a little bit concerned about the paddles in the back of the steering wheel, because I like my paddles to be fixed and move with the wheel. But they don't do that in this car. They don't do that in Maseratis. But you'll never find yourself hunting for a paddle, because they're big enough and they've got that lovely little metal strip on the end. You can just get your fingers around the back. There's always a gear paddle whenever you need one. So what is pushing us along? This is powered by Maserati's Nettuno V6, the first in-house engine the brand have made in decades, because they used to do business with the prancing horse from Maranello, the Scuderia. But this engine cut its teeth in the mighty MC20 supercar, and now it's making its presence felt in the GT. You've got 3 ways to get it. You can start with the Modena, which is the 500 brake horsepower, more civilised entry one. If you want something a bit more, well, you could jump into this, the Trofeo, which uses the same engine, but they ring it out to 540 horsepower. It's like the louder, wilder brother, think Liam Gallagher. And if you're looking for something completely different, then there is an all-electric version, the Folgore, 761 horsepower of silent speed.
You might have already noticed something special, a hint for the connoisseurs. This is Maserati's exclusive Prima Serie anniversary package, and it's all wrapped up in what might be the perfect colour for it, a menacing, magnificent matte black called Nero Cometa.
Well, it certainly looks the part when you see the front of the car. It reminds you of classic GT styling. Now, whenever you look at a car, certain things jump out at you. For me, it's the carbon fibre that we've got around the big air intakes here. It's the huge Maserati grille, and these bits in the bonnet, they're exits for air in that engine bay. We're taking a lot of air in through there, through the side and through the middle, but that big V6 twin turbo engine, which sits way back deep in that engine bay, it's got to get some of the air out of there. And that's exactly what these are for on the front. The Maserati emblem sits very proud in the middle there as well, and it's also got active aero on this car. The lights, lovely, typical like any manufacturer now, they're putting their emblem, their name in there, all lovely, but not overly big, just kind of subtle in front of the car. Look at the wheel arches as well. They give it a nice wide, aggressive stance, and they come over the top of the 20-inch alloy wheels that we've got on the front with drilled, vented discs, big Maserati calipers. Down the side, lovely. Look at the accents there, they're jumping out at you. We've got a carbon fibre sill along the bottom, and the silhouette just looks classy and GT-like. By the time we get to the back, we have got a wheel size which is bigger than the front. We're 21-inch wheels at the back. I've got the Trident proudly sitting on the B-pillar at the back. Okay, here's a warning, a disclaimer. If you don't like looking at gorgeous, handcrafted Italian engines, just skip. But this is gorgeous. When you look at the engine, the placement in the engine bay has it sitting so far back, and it's very low as well. There's so much space down the front here, you can actually see the steering rack that goes across the car. You've got a couple of air boxes in the front. Your intercoolers come up from the side onto the engine. As I look head on, I can see the V's from the cylinder blocks. It's a bit of engineering paradise to look at. We've got our active aero on the top of each of the dampers, and the dampers, when you actually have a look in the side, they don't look like normal dampers at all. They are proper chunky. It's stunning, it really is. There is more to the Nettuno than meets the eye.
But while this Nettuno heart was born for the track-focused MC20, here its character is completely reinvented. All of its immense power is delivered not with a sudden, frantic scream, but with a deep, linear surge. The engineering magic is in how accessible it makes its fury, building with a relentless and sophisticated force that feels both effortless and utterly immense.
The Nettuno's peak torque of 479 foot-pound arrives at just 3,000 RPM. Now I know I've made that sound all glossy, but that's the numbers you were really interested in. And the automatic transmission, when you're in comfort and GT mode, it's almost seamless, super smooth. And that's all fine and well, but I'm a control freak, so I'm always in the manual and I'm always hanging off the back of the steering wheel on the paddles. That's the way I like it. And when I talk about smoothness, I have to mention the air suspension this car has. When you're on the motorway up to 70 miles per hour, it will actively drag the car down towards the ground to make it more aerodynamic. And when you get to a slower area, 30 or 40, it will raise it back up to give you that ground clearance that you may need in town. You know what? It's refreshing to drive a GT car with a V6 engine in front of it, and it sounds like a symphonic orchestra playing back through the bulkhead to me. Very much a tick in the box. 1,800 kilos, I'll take that as well. I've driven a lot of big GT cars, but they're electric. And yes, they do feel like nice cars to drive, but they don't have a soul ticking away underneath the bonnet, and that's what that V6 engine is. It also sits really far back in the bulkhead, so it doesn't feel like you've got a huge amount of weight way over the front wheels. It's actually the engine sits behind the front axle. And when you drive it into a corner, you do get this lovely feeling of the car is planted on the ground. I'm now at the higher end of the scale when I'm turning my driving modes in the steering wheel. We're into the proper area in Duncan's mind, Sport and Corsa. Now, when I do a YouTube review, we do like to push on. We're not pushing to the maximum limit, but we are certainly pushing on. And as a little disclaimer here for Arnold Clark, I do like to give you tyres back in good condition. But the YouTube review's got to be honest. And when I dive into a corner with this car, I know what it's going to do. I know the feedback that it's giving me is good, it's strong, it's responsive. That's because everything's suddenly become a lot tighter, a lot more aggressive, and a lot more kind of urgent. For the feedback in the steering wheel needs to be quick. This is a driver's car, there's no getting away from it. Driver's car, and Maserati, they've created something just a little bit special. You wouldn't buy the Maserati on a spreadsheet, you'd buy it with your heart. And although its competitors are brilliant, they do feel somewhat predictable. This is for an individual that doesn't want to follow the crowd. When you think of Gran Turismo, you think of Maserati. They're intertwined, they go hand in hand. And this car has a genuine story to tell. And I'm just happy I've been able to give you a little piece of that story. I'm Duncan Vincent. This is Arnold Clark YouTube channel. Like and subscribe and hit that bell icon so you never miss an upload from us. And until next time, safe driving.